morning, guys. Today we are going to discuss about one important topic from the crystallography called Miller indices. Then, what is exactly Miller indices means? Miller indices are Miller indices are the group of three numbers. Miller indices are the group of three numbers that indicates the orientation of the plane of the atom in the crystal, right? Means what is the exact position of the plane inside the unit cell. If each atom, if each atom in the crystal is point, represented by point, and if these points are connected by the lines, these points are connected by the lines, then plane is formed one plane is formed. See, we will see how it will looks like, and for that we will get one figure. Let's see the figure, and in this figure we will consider this is a x-axis, this is a y-axis, and this is a z-axis. Along this axis we will consider this is our a, this is along the y-axis is a p, and along the z-axis it's a c. The number which is going to represent on the axis x is by a, along y-axis is by b, and along z-axis is by c. Means what? This is the 1a, this will be the 2a, this will be the 3a, and this will be the 4a, right? Similarly, along the y-axis we will consider this is a 1b, this will be the 2b, this will be the 3b, and this will be the 4b, right? And same along the z-axis, this will be the 1c, this will be the 2c, this will be the 3c, and this will be the 4c, right? Now we will try to join this line according to this statement. These points are connected by the lines, then one plane is formed. Then see how our plane is looks like. Our plane is like this, right? मतलब this is the 5c, right? This is 5c. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस प्लेन देखो क्या कंसिडर करें, इसमें हमें प्लेन दिख रहा है along the a axis this is a 4a, along the y axis it is a 3b, and along the z axis this is a 5c. Now see, the intersecting edge of the one of the plane or unit cell defines a set of crystallographic axes. मतलब it can be indicated by this is a 4a, 3b, and 5c. This is called as a crystallographic axis, right? Then the Miller indices are determined by the intersection of the plane with these three axes. अपने केस में हमारे पास ये तीन एक्सेस पे 4a, 3b and 5c ये कटिंग इंटरसेक्ट्स है. Now we will see how the such planes are looks like in the three-dimensional figures. See, this is our figures. In this case we will try to determine how the interplanar axis and interplanar planes looks like. To understand the previous explanation, we will try to discuss some planes in the unit cell. In a case of the A, in a figure A, we are going to discuss such a plane which is shadowed. यहाँ पे जो shadow वाला प्लेट है या प्लेन है उसको हम लोग कंसिडर करेंगे, और ये shadow वाला प्लेन यहाँ पे हम लोग डिस्कस करें. I will again shadow it with the lines. ये वाला जो प्लेन है, actually this plane is your plane. Let's see, the plane which is cuts at a is only perpendicular to the x-axis and which is parallel to the y-axis and z-axis. You can see, observe, along the y-axis it is a parallel, along the z-axis it is also parallel. To understand such a concept, we will try to discuss the one important point. See, in a point we say if the plane is parallel to the crystal axis, which is like this plane is parallel inside the figure along the x-axis, along the y-axis and along the z-axis, and it is cuts along the x-axis only. It means if the plane is parallel to the crystal axis, the intercept made by this plane with the axis will be the infinite. So in our figure, the plane which is cuts at A along the x-axis is parallel along the y-axis and also parallel along the z-axis. So it intercept along the y-axis is a infinite and its intercept along the z-axis is also infinite. So if it is an infinite, then its corresponding mirror indices is 0. Whatever its corresponding mirror index will be the 0 because the reciprocal of the infinite is a 0. Right? Its reciprocal along the infinite is a. Now we will discuss about the figure second, B. In figure B, we are going to observe the shaded plane is cut at A along the x-axis and it's also cut at B along the y-axis. But the plane is parallel along the z-axis. It means the line, the plane which is cut along the x-axis is at A, the plane which is cuts along the y-axis at B, but the plane is parallel along the z-axis, so its intercept along the z-axis is infinite. So along the z-axis it is a infinite, right? अगर ये infinite है तो the reciprocal of infinite will be the 0. बराबर, its reciprocal of infinite will be the 0. Again we will discuss the figure C. In the case of the figure C, the plane which is colored and which is going to cut along the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis means which is cut at A along the x-axis, which is cuts at B along the y-axis and which is cuts at C along the z-axis. So the plane which is attached to the every point means the given plane is cuts to the each axis at A, B, C. So its intercept at the A, B, C. So its mirror indices is a 1, 1, 1. Boss, this was the general explanation for to understand the. Now with the help of this three figure, we will try to understand how the given plane is cut along the x, y and z axis. देखो फिगर ए में हम लोग देखते हैं हमने जो shadow किया हुआ प्लेन है वो प्लेन इज ओनली अलोंग द x एक्सिस, इज ओनली अलोंग द x एक्सिस और वो कट कर रहा है ए पे. सो वो वाला प्लेन अलोंग y एक्सिस और अलोंग z एक्सिस क्या है, पैरेलल है. तो वो x एक्सिस को और y एक्सिस को कभी कट करेगा ही नहीं, वो इनफाइनाइट रहेगा अलोंग दिस टू एक्सिस. इट मींस दे इंटरसेक्ट अलोंग द y एंड z एक्सिस इनफाइनाइटली, राइट. अब इस केस में देखते हैं अलोंग द b. इसमें क्या कर रहा है, द प्लेन विच इज गोइंग टू कट्स एट a अलोंग x एक्सिस एंड एट b अलोंग द y एक्सिस, but along the z axis this plane is a parallel infinitely. So Miller indices is a 1 1 0. And in case of the third figure, ये जो plane है हमने consider किया वो plane is going to cut each and every axis at a point A, at a point B on a y axis and at a point of C along the z axis, right? So now we will discuss how to determine the Miller indices और हम देखेंगे उसके 4 steps. Okay, now see the 4 steps to find out the Miller indices. 4 steps to find out the Miller indices. Step 1. Step 1 is find the intercept made by the plane with 3 axes of the crystal. To understand in a better way, we will take one figure with, for example, just try to understand these 3 axes. In this figure, we will try to understand this is a x-axis, this is a y-axis, and this is a z-axis. Along the x-axis, we will consider the numbers is 1a, 2a, 3a, and 4a. Right? There will be the 1a, there will be the 2a, there will be the 3a, and there will be the 4a. I hope you are getting here. Along y-axis, this will be the 1b, this will be the 2b, this will be the 3b or 4b, right? Along z-axis, 1c, 2c, 3c and 4c, right? Now we will try to join the axis. Let's join the axis. Now this is our intercept plane. Along the x-axis, they go, this is a 3a. Along the y-axis, the plane cuts the y-axis at a 2b, and along the z-axis, the plane cuts at a 4c. Right, along the 4c. It means in this case, the intercept made by the plane with 3 axes of crystals are 3a, 2b and 4c. Boss, this is our first step. क्या है first step? We will repeat it. Find the intercept made by the plane with 3 axes of the crystal. अपने केस में वो intercept है 3a पे, 2b पे और 4c पे. Now the second step. Step 2. Step 2 says that express the intercept as multiples of unit distance along the 3 axes. Means just we have to write this number as like that is 3, 2 and 4, right? This is our second step. It's a very simple step. Now we will go ahead with the third step. The third step is take the reciprocal of this number. Take the reciprocal of this number. और अपने पास number थे. This was the 3, 2 and 4. And अपनी third step कहती है take the reciprocal of this 3 number. Means 1 divided by 3, 1 divided by 2 and 1 divided by 4. We just took a reciprocal of this number, right? Now fourth step says the clear of the fraction by the multiplying each by the LCM. क्या करेंगे? LCM of the denominator. डिनोमिनेटर के हर एक को LCM से उसके क्या करेंगे? मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे. तो we have 1 divided by 3, 1 divided by 2 and 1 divided by 4, and our target is to determine the LCM of these 3 numbers and multiply by this LCM to the denominator. So obviously we know that the 12 is the LCM of 3, 2 and 4. 4 का, 2 का और 3 का LCM कौन है? 12 है. हम क्या करेंगे? We will multiply by 12 to these 3 numbers. Means it will be look like this: 1 divided by 3 into 12, 1 divided by 2 into 12 and 1 divided by 4 into 12. तो क्या हो जाएगा? 3 1s are 3, 3 4s are 12, 2 1s are 2, 2 6 are 12 and 4 1s are 4, 4 3s are 12. Means we got 4, 6 and 3. right? And so the Miller indices of the considered plane are 4, 6, 3. It means these three numbers are our Miller indices. Boss, in our first slide, we consider the Miller indices are the group of three numbers, and these three numbers are Miller indices. And one important part, usually the Miller indices are enclosed in bracket and shows as HKL bracket 463. मतलब it will be the HKL का value रहेगा 463, and these three numbers are our Miller indices. हमने जो एग्जाम्पल लिया था उस एग्जाम्पल के अकॉर्डिंगली वी गॉट द मिरर इंडाइसेस ऑफ गिवन प्लेन आर 463. आई होप कि आपको ये वाला कॉन्सेप्ट अंडरस्टैंड हुआ है. थैंक यू.